Right, so bear with me here. That's the standard side trims on. Now, that's obviously where the second steer axle used to be, and before obviously it was a T-cab. When it was a Volvo, this, or even a Scania I suppose, this arch would be up here, so it'd be back here. But hang on, if I fit the other side on, like the other side trim, so obviously that was the one that went here. If I fit the other side trim on, then this front wheel trim actually, with a bit of modification, will butt up to it. Obviously I'd have to modify this, obviously get rid of this and modify this here. But if you look at the holes there to where the outrigger is, that's going to pretty much line up with a bit of a bend or rotating it. So that could be the way forward. Obviously we haven't got any trim up this end anyway, so that doesn't matter. And we've just got to shape this on this end. I think that works better. I think we'll be all right with that. Excellent. And also looking at the rear end, the bits that go on the back, this is going to be hard to show you. Let's see if I can lean this up. So yeah, so that would be, try to do it through a camera while lining up. That would be how that is, right? So if I'm going to use this one, if you look, still got the arch there. So if I obviously cut round it, around that line, there's even a lip on the back still. So that will actually work that end. And then we just got to modify this end. Obviously that is just round and cut off. So technically we could do the same. Yeah, this is going to work. I'm even surprised myself. Right, I had a change of heart at the last minute. I've used this side, the correct side, and trimmed the front as opposed to trimming both ends. I've trimmed this trim down, and obviously that's got a little bump in the middle, but we can replicate that. And I think I've just got to take a little bit more off, probably this end, to get that to sit about right. So yeah, not too bad. Yeah, I cut them on the wonk, the right amount at the bottom, but a bit more at the top just to be on the safe side. So I've just got to trim them down and make, as you can see, like that. And then yeah, I think this one, still needs to go over a touch, but that's that done. So then all we've got to do then is make a infill to go along here. We've obviously got the T-cab parts, so it would be a gap here somewhere. So yeah, there we go. Now to do it all again on the other side. Right, and that's the other side done. Again, the edges just need fettling up to make sure it fits perfect. Needs a little bit more taken off by the looks of it, I think. But yeah, I don't want to take too much off just yet. I think it needs a little tiny bit. But yeah, we're getting there. Ah, joy. I'm just trying the doors on for size to make sure they all fit. Obviously, I'd still need to just snap off the little tags. Obviously, when it comes off for painting, I can do all that. And obviously, this door is a bit wobbly because it's only got one hinge on it. So we might have to, I don't know, once it's cut, it might sit better. I don't know, but we shall see. They're not tightened up too much anyway. So yeah, it's coming together. Rear end is temporarily on. Again, it's just all fitting up to make sure it all works before it all comes apart again to be painted, but we're getting there. So there we go. I've chopped them down. I haven't chopped them all the way down yet because I need to get the hinges spot on before I actually finish the level off, but that shows that they will sit there. Yeah, so we are getting on with it. So next will be to, as I say, get the hinges set properly, level off the bottom of the doors, and then continue the trim piece on. Have I got it here? There. So obviously that will, once the doors are moved up, that will be up there. And then we'll have to make something to go all the way along there. So yeah, getting there, quite pleased. All right then, so got the doors trimmed down. I still think I might fix those, yeah, as opposed to having them hinged. And then that does just about, needs a little bit more trimming to fit up properly inside there. So then we've got to start looking at the front end. Now, I've got my T-cab bits. I haven't cut this arch out yet, obviously. I'm just having a look. And I was a bit concerned by the massive gap that's there. I wonder what the hell this is all about. But actually, when you measure it, the gap between the top of that step and this one and that one are actually the same. So there is just a void there. A couple of people have added some like black plastic card in there just to hide it up. So we'll have to have a look at those options. My other thought was to chop those little stanchions down by sort of 10 mil and bring the whole cab down a bit so they're a bit closer. But then the steps aren't equal. So, I don't know. I'm still thinking about this one. But this side's technically done on the back end, so I'm going to spin it round and work on the other side now. Right, well this side's done now as well. Doors are trimmed down. All ready for the arch to go on. Again, this one's going to need a little bit of fettling still just to get it in there properly, but we're almost there. So again, I've been working a bit more on trying to get the T-cab to fit a bit better. So I elongated the holes for the cab. All right, that's not perfectly down yet, but with a little bit more adjustment, you can see that sits fine. And then I chopped a little bit of the arch out to get this step bit in. And then just taped it on with that. And as I say, there's a massive gap there, but when you measure them, so the top of the bottom step to there, and that one to there, they're pretty identical. So we are just going to have a big void there. So yeah, we'll have to be creative with that. I mean, we've still got to do something with this massive gap here yet. So I think we might have to make something that bolts to the chassis and comes off and then is literally just a flat skirt. But I don't know, we'll see what bits we can get from other models maybe that might fit that. We shall see. So yeah, so another good few hours. That did take a few hours just sitting here thinking and measuring up and moving bits, but it's coming along. I know I keep saying that, but it is. Okay, so back on this today. After a bit of research and some questions put on the Facebook pages, someone sent me a picture of a proper T-cab, and it actually shows this step being sort of here with a gap above it. So question is, do I leave it up here and then just infill this bit, or do I move this down? Because it makes sense because the curvature of the piece, and then mount the whole lot to like a blank piece that goes down behind it and leave a gap on both. Sorry, I'm too busy looking at the thing and not actually what I'm putting the camera at. So yes, I'll have to have a think on that. I'll have to look at a few more pictures, but I reckon if we make a bit of plasticard this shape, screw these or glue these to it, and then mount it maybe with the chassis outriggers that we're not using up here. That might hold it in position. So I think that's probably the plan, which means I probably didn't need to cut the whole cab off, but people do. So I'll have another think about it, have a little look. I might just get a bit of scrap plastic just to put them on and see how it sits and where it sits and go from there. But next job is the servo. Servo's turned up. Normally these mount in a different position, sort of halfway down the chassis with long rods. Because I'm not using the 3-speed shift gear selector, I can lose the servo up front for that, and just put this one in the front for the steering, because it takes less joints out of it. So obviously to get that in, really I need to take the front end off, and I need to strip all this down anyway. I've also got the Lesu Cab hook, so I think before I take all this off to put the servo in, I will try and mount this up and we'll see how this holds. Someone sent me a link to this one for what they're using, so we'll give this a go. I will come back shortly once I've had a play. That sounds wrong. I'll come back shortly once I've offered this up. Right, well, the Lesu Cab Latch is fitted. I think the cab is still slightly tilted. We have adjusted it quite a bit, but I think it is still slightly tighter here than it is up there. But until we get everything else fitted, I don't really want to drill any more holes. I mean, the cab and bonnet and everything fits quite nicely, so I'm not sure that angle is going to be that noticeable once it's on the move. But yeah, so if you, I've got to really do it from the other side, to be honest. But if you pop the latch, flip the cab, oh God, trying to do this with one hand. Oh, got to open the bonnet first, forgot about that. There you go. Not very professional, sorry. But yeah, there it is. Managed to drill and tap the hole with everything in situ using the drill, but just put the tap in the drill and done it very slowly. So yeah, so as you can see, that latch is there. We moved it upside down, so it was the other way up and the holes were here, but it was far too low. So I turned it round and then it was far too high, so I had to drill the holes up a bit higher. You can probably see the extra holes. So yeah, I still think it might need to go up a little bit more yet, but there you go. Latch it down and we're there. Right, so now I can put the servo and steering in, and then we won't have floppy wheels.